So that's 4 defeats from 5 for Wolves, and another could and probably should have got something out of. And yet again, I think errors kind of letting us down. I think we'll start with the positives. And the positives was, well, the first half performance. Really, really excellent. Gary O'Neill gets this team playing really well on the front foot in the opening 45 minutes. We pressed really well from the front and in midfield as well. The defence was winning everything. I thought Semedo and Aït-Nouri was superb. Really good defensively and excellent going forward, linking up play really well. I thought Bellegarde had an amazing debut. Really ran his socks off and was also showed a lot of drive. Showed how he can replace Mateus Nunes. Excellent on the ball, and I think he's a little bit more physical as well. A little bit pacier. He's not quite as tall, so he won't cover ground as quick, but I think he's got a little bit more technical ability, which might actually suit us better. I thought Pedro Neto back to his best today. A little bit more muted in the second half, but first half he was untouchable. Really, really good play for him for the first goal. Excellent bit of skill and a great cross. And Hwang again, best finisher in the team. I think it might be worth trying to see if we can play him as a lone role, as the lone striker role, instead of Cunha, because today, my word, we should have been 2 or maybe even 3-0 up when the half-time whistle went. Cunha with an absolute sitter. Great play again by Neto. But you've got to be scoring that, and this is the issue that we've had with Cunha as a 9. He cannot finish. It's a little bit like having Adama Traore up front. Granted, Cunha is better technically, but it also, you get similar kind of vibes. They can dribble past anyone they want on their given day, but they just can't finish any chances. And then, we're kind of going into the second half thinking, we've only got a 1-goal lead, it's not great. And I don't really know what Gary O'Neill said to the team at half-time. But again, this is a really frustrating occurrence, is that we have a really solid first half. Second half, we start really slowly, we sit back. There's no intensity to our play. We were so sloppy on the ball. And this has happened in pretty much every game so far, except maybe the Manchester United game. I think we really, really need to nail down being consistent in 2 halves, because it's no good being incredible in the first half, only getting 1 goal, and then really suffering in the second half. And I thought the mistakes for the goals today were horrendous. I mean, the first goal, 5 or 6 players in the box, still a free man for Liverpool. And then the second one, Andy Robertson scoring, Jose Sarr again, awful clearance. This man makes some incredible saves, granted, but he is such a liability that he will almost single-handedly send us down if he doesn't pick up his form, because he'll make 1 or 2 great saves, but he's got a calamity in him every single time. And then the third goal as well, again, just Liverpool catching us on the break. Max Kilman, not a great clearance. I think, again, he was arguably at fault for one of the goals today. I think probably the second goal by Robertson. The first goal from Gakpo. Again, not great defending. So, look, really frustrating. Great first half, awful second half. We need to learn how to cope with pressure, because this team, as soon as 1 goal goes in, they just seem to collapse. It's really, really frustrating and worrying. And I think Gary O'Neill has to learn how to get his half-time talks right. Otherwise, I think we're in for a really rough run of form yet again. And I think Man City next as well, so it doesn't get any easier.
Wolves lose to Liverpool 3-1 in a game that shouldn't have been 3-1. I think that's fair to admit. I think the first half was excellent. Lots to be kind of encouraged about on that front. There were excellent performances all over the pitch. Defence looked relatively untroubled with the lack of the Liverpool threat going forward. I thought Bellegarde was absolutely brilliant. He showed so much just in that first half of what we can expect from him this season. So looks like a real bargain at 12.5 million. Forwards look good. I think Neto looked excellent. Looks back to his best. He's got his pace. He's got his drive. He's taking players on. He had Gomez on toast for the entirety of the first half. Chani looked good. Got his goal. Great work from Neto and him and Neto to get the goal. And I think that put us in good stead for the rest of the half. Should have been 2 or 3 before we got into half time though. Definitely should have got into 2 or 3. I think Bellegarde should have taken his shot instead of backheeling it to Neto. And the one where Neto nutmegged Joe Gomez, made a fool of him. How Cunha's not putting that in the goal from about 6 yards out, I have no idea. It reminds me of the Che Adams incident with Southampton a couple of seasons back, where he would just, any part of his body but his bollocks, and that goes in. I'm pretty sure it was his bollocks. I couldn't tell. I haven't watched any of the highlights back, but Yeah, going to half time 1-0. Room to improve on the second half, build on it. But O'Neill's tactics were shocking. If we're being honest, we came out. It was lazy. We were negative. We sat on the edge of our own box and just soaked up pressure and pressure. And there's only so long that you can go before a team with Liverpool's quality going forward break you down. And it didn't take long. I can't remember who scored now, but it was a disappointing one to concede. Almost certainly, some of the defending for the goals today were questionable at best, at worst, at best. I don't know. I've lost my head, but heads dropped. Kilman's your captain. They look at Kilman. Kilman's got his head down. No encouragement. I think the subs were poor. I don't know what Matt Doherty adds. He was sat in Nelson's back pocket the entirety of the second half. He just sat. We had two right backs. If you're going to play Doherty as a right wing back or a right winger, make sure he's staying up the pitch, because he was just adding absolutely nothing. Fabio was brought on. It's getting difficult to back him, but it was difficult for him because he was left on his own the same way Cunha was left on his own, and there's no value in that. There's no stock in it. They're going to struggle for chances. They need help, and they're not getting it. Really disappointed. Really disappointed. I didn't think Liverpool were all that today, but they put their chances away from negative tactics. Move on to City. Almost certainly another loss, but we've really got to get some points, and O'Neill's got to sort this team out, and fast.
So it finished Wolverhampton 1-1, Liverpool 3. Just a quick few key points to go over before move on to obviously the next game. Game of 2 hours really massively changed in second half. The performance, I knew at half time that Liverpool weren't going to come out the same as they did in the first half. But let's quickly look at the first half. First, Aït-Nouri really, really good today. Defended really well against Mo Salah. Lots of fans say, oh, Aït-Nouri can't defend or he's weak defensively. I don't ever want to hear that again, because he's shown that multiple times now. He can defend and he's a good defender. So I don't want to hear that. The only thing he needs to improve on really is his fitness. Hwang, I said this last week against Crystal Palace. He needed to start this game instead of Sarabia, and he has done. And look what happened. He scored. He offers so much more apart from just goals. It's the positional save for the team, in and out of possession. He's so good in terms of keeping the shape. Blocks off the passes, keeps himself the width, gives us the width. That is what we need from him. So really, really good from Hwang today. Neto, really good in the first half. Continuously beating Joe Gomez. At half time, he must have been thinking, crikey, I'm ready to retire here, because he had him on toast. He was beating him every single time. And then second half, he faded again as well, like so many of them did. Cunha, really good first half driving. Should have scored. That's going to be his killer instinct. There's lots of fans around me saying, oh, should be scoring. He says, you should be. But if Cunha's scoring all the time, he ain't playing for Wolverhampton Wanderers, because the way he drives past those players is too good to play for us if he's that and he's finishing at the end. So that is something he has to work on, his finishing on his side. Otherwise, we're going to be in real trouble this season. 3-0 up at half time. We should have been really. That wouldn't have mattered us really. If we were 3-0 up at half time, Liverpool created absolutely nothing in that first half really, and it changed with the second half. Bellegarde, really impressive with his debut. I liked him, strong, quick, powerful, can carry the ball past players, and I had a good pass on him, and he was good in terms of making key decisions. Really, really like him. I think he's going to have a good career at Wolves, Rages. I know it's early days, but I think he's going to have a good career at Wolves. He could have scored himself. I know he played. There was one bit where he was into the box and he backheeled it or tried to flick it back through to Neto. But if he just played it, obviously he had a shot first time, he could have worked the goalkeeper. But I'm really impressed by him. Jose Sarr cost us that second goal. Distribution was really poor from that kick. I knew he didn't look comfortable taking it already. Obviously, I was in the North Bank. He didn't look comfortable anyway taking that kick. I thought he's going to cause trouble this as soon as it gets kicked out. And obviously they scored him straight away. Everyone was on the back foot, but was on the back foot, and then obviously we can see from that. Fabio Silva, he claims he wants his number 9 shirt. For me, he's not doing enough at the moment. I've always been a fan of him saying he needs time. At the moment, he's not doing it. Simple as he's not doing enough for that shirt. So it's a bit disappointing from him. Luton now is definitely next weekend is a must-win game. That is we cannot afford to not get anything from that game, because we've got Man City the game after. So it's really important that we do win that game. Luton, hopefully we can get somewhere to Kenilworth Road and get some points on the board. Apart from that, I'll see you in the next one.
Wolves 1, Liverpool 3. Really annoying, frustrating. Some lapse of concentration, errors, personal errors. Second half performance, all of that linking towards this loss today. Start with the first half, we were brilliant. Everybody on the pitch, fantastic. The goal from Hwangi, brilliant, great finish. Neto, awesome today. Getting at defenders, beating them, putting balls into the box. A couple of them today didn't deserve to lose that football match. But unfortunately, that's football. When you've got some players in the team who just aren't good enough to play, then they're going to be on the losing side, unfortunately. But the first half was fantastic from us. Played really well, getting the ball forward, attacking. I haven't seen us play that well attacking in a long while. Bellegarde, wow, he'll be some player, he will. It was great to watch him play today. I thought he had a fantastic first game. João Gomez, another one who was fantastic today. He was brilliant, didn't deserve to be losing. And then second half, we come out and it's a completely different Wolves. We're sat in, and if there's one thing we cannot do at the moment, it's defend. And we tried to do that for 45 minutes, and it's bit us in the arse. Some individual mistakes. Their first goal, I couldn't see it very well from where I was, but I'm hearing Kilwin's fault. The second goal's comical. You're 10 minutes away from a point. Your goalie's got the ball in his hands, and we're trying to lump it forward to Neto. There's two players on the goalie, and it's a horrid kick into halfway between the halfway line and the 18-yard box. And they've made about 3 passes and it's in the net. And then the third one, if you're a centre-half and a striker is backing into you late on, you need to take him. You don't fucking throw your arms out, land on the floor and try and fucking win a foul. You take him out and that's it. You take the yellow and you get set. It's as simple as that. And some brain-dead mistakes from us today. And then when we're trying to get back in the game and we're bringing substitutes on to try and help us, and they're just not up to the speed of the game. Fabio Silva today was horrendous. There is nobody in this Wolves team who I want to do better, as the best than that bloke. But I cannot see it. His touch is shit. He can't hold the ball up. He's got no pace. He doesn't look arsed. But just individual mistakes today have killed us. Absolutely killed us. First half, it was our game to win. All we needed was 1 or 2 more goals in that first half, which we should have had, and we win that game today. But no, we've come out on the losing side once again. We've shipped 7 goals, I think it is, at home already. Well, that's embarrassing enough as it is. On to Luton next week, which is a must-win game. We need to win that game. It's as simple as that. We need to win that game. Thanks everyone, boys.
Disappointing afternoon. After that first half, disappointing to lose the game. Kind of expected it really though at half time. You know, first half all over Liverpool. Definitely should have been a minimum of 2-0 up, if not 3 or 4 really, if we took some of our chances better. But 2-0 in particular, Kuna with a chance from about 5 yards out. Don't really know what he's done. He's gone to head the ball and it's come off his stomach. So yeah, he had a really good game, to be fair, Kuna, especially first half. Got the ball, got us up the pitch well, drove with the ball. But you've got to be finishing them chances. It was a bit like the Man United game all over again, you know, creating chance after chance. And to only go up in 1-0 up was very disappointing. And you always felt Klopp was going to change something at half-time for Liverpool and they would come out better than they started, which was the case, unfortunately. And to be honest, you look at Liverpool subs and you think probably pretty much all of them would walk into our team and start every game. And ultimately, that's the different second half. There's just different quality. Klopp put 4 up front, meant that our fullbacks couldn't really push forward. The midfielders were having to sit a bit deeper, and we just couldn't really get out. I would like to see us going a bit more attacking. I do think we sat a little bit deep, but it's to be expected, I suppose, when they're trying to pin you in as much as they can. Second goal was really disappointing. Sarr, I don't know what he's doing. Neto's made a run down the left wing. Sarr's just got to put a ball into a channel to pick him out, and it's just kind of floated into the middle of the pitch straight to a Liverpool player, and after that we were always in trouble. So yeah, say disappointing afternoon, but probably not the shared consensus, but actually quite encouraging for me. I think if we play like we did first half against some of the lesser teams this season, we'll definitely get a result. But we also need to start finishing chances as well. As good as Kuna is, and I do rate him, I think he's a very, very good footballer. He's not a lone striker for me. He doesn't finish his chances well enough. He had another one, he ran through a couple of people, had a half chance, but stuck it wide. He's got to be hitting the target. Silva came on second half. I felt a bit sorry for him. He's completely isolated at times. Still not convinced he's the man to really lead the line either. I'd like to see Sasha up alongside Kuna. Double top scorer 2 years in a row at his previous club. Seems to know where the back of the net is. He's got one for us, obviously, at Everton earlier this season already. I would like to see Sasha given a chance. Wang sub for Doherty was a bit of a strange one. Wang wasn't tracking back at all, to be fair, and Robertson almost had the freedom of Molyneux down the left-hand side. But Doherty wasn't really the option for me. I'd have liked to see even someone like Sarabia or something like that. O'Neill telling him to track back a bit more, but still giving us a bit more attacking threat. But yeah, disappointing afternoon. Very good first half, very poor second half. Always expected though against a decent side. So on to Luton next week.
Afternoon, Wolves fans. Well, I thought after the first half I was going to be recording a nice little message today, but no, unfortunately not. Night and day, first and second half, wasn't it? I mean, the performance in the first half was again sensational, but not for the first time. We come out second half and we've been terrible. To only going 1-0 up at half time is always criminal. We've created 2, 3, 4 good chances to score a goal. Cunha obviously missing a sitter, but he's not all to blame, is he? Let's be honest. Because I thought apart from that, his all-round game's brilliant and he always has been. And I credit him for that, but he's not a natural goal scorer. Neto on flames today. Nice to see Neto back on form. Last few games as well, he's done really well, and he just seems to be getting more and more confidence again in his own abilities, which is good to see. The assist for the goal was sensational. Nice to see him wanting to drive at people again and have a go and put some good balls into the box. Credit to Wang getting on the end of it as well. Calm finish, which isn't like, again, scored another goal. Can't really fault him. Don't think he done much else in the game really, but he scored, so credit to him there. Only a few players from me come out with a lot of credit today. Obviously Neto being one of them. Joe Gomez in the middle of the park was brilliant. Even in that second half, biting at people's ankles, going and winning the ball, winning tackles that you probably shouldn't win. Hounding, phenomenal. I love him. All action. Might get some silly bookings along the way in the season, but I think you have to take the good with the bad with him. And that Bellegarde was, he looks unreal, doesn't he, already? I think that's a way to introduce yourself to the fans. Always wants the ball, doesn't shy away, dribbles well, passes well, gets himself up the pitch, seems to pick the right option 9 times out of 10, keeps the ball ticking over. He's exactly what we've been missing for a long time. So let's just hope he continues and keeps improving, and sort of adds some chances and get some goals as well. Shame to see him come off injured. Hopefully it's just a bit of cramp. He's probably never run as much in that game as for the rest of his career, so yeah, big introduction to the Premier League for him though, so yeah, credit to him. I think where it's gone wrong today is Gary O'Neill's game management, because the second half, I think we've sat on the edge of our 18-yard box from the start of the second half, which if you invite a team like Liverpool onto your all game, they're gonna get a goal at some point. I really feel like we didn't manage the game at all well. We should have continued the way we played in the first half on the front foot, or when we got the ball really trying to attack and counter them, leaving people up to create chances, but we didn't. We just all sat back and we had every player behind the ball, and I get it, in the last 10 minutes of the game, we tried to hold on, but we weren't, and you've got to keep going and get some momentum and try and force them back the other way as well. They made a lot of mistakes today, and we didn't capitalise. It's just a shame to see. It's a shame that we're saying again another good first half performance and terrible second half. We should have come away with at least a point. And Jose Sarr, what are you doing? Why are you 1-1 and you're trying to find Neto, which the ball wasn't on. He's got 2 defenders running with him. It's not like he's running into clear space. And the ball's got nowhere near him. Absolutely nowhere near him. Decision making there, terrible. he panics me on the ball anyway, and that just epitomises what he's been doing lately and not making right decisions. Shot stopping has always been good, but other than that. And then, yeah, we fell apart. Kilman, someone take the armband off him, please. It just looks too much for him. And I like Kilman, but he's been terrible. And that armband isn't doing him any favours. Yeah, onwards and upwards. I think this season we just have to beat the teams around us and hope they keep losing as well. And go from there.